Amid the government shutdown, millions of people now are at risk of losing their Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, or SNAP. So come Saturday, funding for SNAP in dozens of states, including Maryland, could run out. So what does it mean, big picture? Joining us now with more is Politico's Grace Yarrow. Grace, you've been working on this story and trying to put all the pieces together. Where do we stand right now?
Yeah, thanks for having me. We're kind of in a holding pattern as of this week. I think the SNAP piece of this funding situation is going to become a real tension. A lot of lawmakers were not totally aware of the fact that SNAP could run out starting November 1st. And so this has really heated up in the last week or so. Some lawmakers are trying to pass some sort of bill that would look at patching up SNAP funding so that it could at least continue for a couple of weeks or through all of November. But there are a lot of different ideas about how to do this. And Democrats are still arguing that the Trump administration legally has to tap a $5 billion contingency fund to keep SNAP going. So I think there's going to be a lot of arguing ahead over this. It's going to affect everybody's home states. It'll be a lot. So I think we're going to see who's trying to fix it, who's going to keep pushing the administration to find the funding patch for this.
You know, it's my understanding, I was reading through your article, you know, the $5 billion in the emergency fund, that would certainly help, but it seems like that wouldn't even cover, barely half of what the cost would be to just keep this going for one cycle. So does that mean it's individual states that have to pick up the slack here if this continues?
Yeah, so that USDA contingency fund, the administration is arguing is intended for disasters, natural disasters, which they issue. But yeah, as you said, it would cost more than $8 billion to keep SNAP open through November. So Democrats are arguing, and some anti-hunger groups that we've spoken to are arguing that, you know, USDA should just use that $5 billion just to tide participants to the program over for as long as possible before they lose those benefits. But as you said, even if that fund was tapped, there's already delays because USDA has told state agencies to pause the process as soon as October 10th. So it's, you know, we're weeks behind at this point getting to the preparation state for November 1st for benefits to start being issued for November. But yeah.
So the SNAP benefits, as you pointed out, you're looking at, on average, almost $200 a month that families across the country rely on to get food. This is impacting states that are both Republican-led and both Democratic-led and majorities. We've seen other things in the past with government shutdowns. The military pay is one of them that you would think would be a way to get both sides to come to an agreement. Might this be something that could lead to the end of the shutdown, or are both sides going to continue to blame each other for why we're here and not address the issue?
It's hard to tell at this point. I think everybody is really aware of the looming crisis that could come with SNAP benefits ending. A lot of people are nervous about that happening, especially right before the holidays when food banks and food pantries already experience high levels of demand. Kids are home from school. Hunger, it tends to spike during the holidays anyway. So everybody is really aware, I think, of that looming crisis. But as far as I can tell, I don't think it's changed anybody's perspective on maybe coming to the table more, or, you know, letting down some of those red lines that are broadly holding us back from reopening the government. So it's hard to tell, but that could change in the coming days, you know, as people hear from their constituents and, you know, SNAP participants start getting more notices that they are going to have benefits come November 1st.
Grace, real quick, we got to wrap this up, but any update for Virginia, Maryland, D.C. people who rely on SNAP benefits?
Yeah, so Virginia has declared a state of emergency so that they can tap some backup funds to provide food benefits that they say are similar to SNAP. But sort of the big problem here is that states, first of all, just don't have the money to make up for what the federal government would normally chip in for SNAP. But two, it's not, even if they were to start paying or using their own money, they can't get reimbursed when the government reopens, and they can't offer the same programs as SNAP. They could just offer some sort of food benefits or aid until that SNAP program is back on.
All right, so the challenge continues this morning, and we're going to keep an eye on both your reporting and what we hear from the Hill. Politico's Grace Yarrow joining us this morning to talk about some of these SNAP benefit challenges. Thank you, Grace. Good talking to you this morning. It is 7:22 right now. We're going to take a short break. We'll have much more Fox 5 Morning at 7 right after this.